Have you ever wondered what it's like to start enduro racing? We have too, which is why we're making a new series on my YouTube channel of Dawson and I getting into enduro racing. I first want to say that this video is sponsored by Competitive Cyclist, and I'll show you the gear that they sent us to help us get going. In this video, I'm going to show the bikes that we'll be using and the gear that we'll be using. And what interests us most about enduro racing is it's using the same bike and most of the gear that we use on a typical trail ride. And that's the lure of enduro racing. It doesn't take a lot of specialized equipment. Just like we go out on our epic rides and ride to the top and then pin it on the way down, that's what enduro racing is like. So I'll start by showing the gear that we'll be using, starting with the pads. And Dawson and I did quite a bit of research on the knee and elbow pads that would be best. And we landed on the POC Joint VPD system. And we just got these in from Competitive Cyclist. And these rated really high for fit, for comfort, and of course protection. And comfort was really important to us because, as you know, in enduro racing, you're pedaling to the start of each stage and you do multiple stages in one day, and being comfortable in your gear was a top priority. And these are the Joint VPD system elbow, and we actually got medium-sized elbow pads and small knee, because on POC's website they have a really good fit guide, and you measure above your kneecap, below your kneecap, and then of course on your forearm and above your elbow. And the medium elbow pads look to be really good, and we've tried these on, they fit well. And we've also tried on the knee pads and they fit well. And so those are the knee and elbow pads that we'll be using. Also from Competitive Cyclists, we got goggles. And I've actually never raced or ridden in goggles as far as mountain biking. I did way back in my BMX days. So I got the Fox Main goggles, and this is a pretty basic goggle. It's like $25. And by the way, I'm gonna put the links in the description below of the pads and goggles that I'm showing that we got from Competitive Cyclist. And so like I said, these are pretty basic. They have the little tabs here for tearaways in case you want to use those. I probably won't when I first start. And so Dawson, he wanted the POC Aura Clarity. So Dawson, why don't you talk about why you like those goggles?
I like these goggles because they work really seamlessly with POC's helmets, particularly the Tectile, their half-shell Enduro helmet, but also their full face. That's the helmet that I have. And the Clarity lens has a special lens that boosts contrast on the trail, but it really doesn't have much tint at all, which I'm not a fan of. It just provides all the benefits without the tint.
Yeah, and I landed on just the clear lens. So I'll see how these do. So let's show the helmets now that we'll be using for our enduro racing. So on races that require full face helmets, and we'll be doing our research as to which ones do, I'll be using the Fox Rampage Comp. This is actually a helmet that I'm pretty used to because I use it for BMX. It used to be Dawson's, and he handed it down to Dad, so thanks, Dawson. This is a pretty comfortable helmet with really good peripheral vision. Dawson, why don't you talk about the helmet that you'll be using for enduro racing?
I got the POC Coron Air Spin. I'll probably be using this helmet for all stages because I know I want that extra protection of the full face. And like I said, it works really well with these goggles. This helmet has really good peripheral vision as well as that helmet, and really good padding.
I may also use my Giro fixture MIPS. This is one that I trail ride in a lot. And this helmet is really comfortable, and we'll be doing some of our enduro racing in the southeast in the summertime, so it can be pretty hot. So if the race allows an open face helmet, this is probably the one that I'll use. So that's the gear that we'll be using. And like I said, the great thing about enduro racing is a lot of that gear we just use on our everyday trail rides. And Dawson rides in his full face helmet a lot when he jumps. Now the bikes. So the bikes that we'll be using for our enduro racing are going to be Transition. So I'm on a 29er, I'm on the Transition Sentinel. I've been riding that bike for quite a bit now and really like that bike. Dawson, what bike are you using?
I'll be using the Transition Patrol. That's their 27.5 long travel enduro bike.
So Dawson, why do you like 27.5 over 29?
I like it because it combines the maneuverability of 26-inch wheels with the rollover ability of 29-inch wheels.
Yeah, he's so used to that bike. He jumps it a lot. I like 29 because I get a lot of speed when I go through like chunky stuff and rock gardens and things like that. And I also like the stability of 29. So I'll be using clipless pedals, and I'll be using the basic Shimano XT trail pedals. Dawson, what pedals do you plan on using for enduro racing?
I'm actually not sure. I'm leaning towards flat pedals. That's what I'm used to, and also it provides a lot of confidence. But I'm also confident and used to clipless pedals because that's what I use for BMX racing. The two pedals I'm considering right now are for clipless HTX2s, that's their downhill-oriented clipless pedal, and the flat pedals I'm considering are the Crank Brothers Stamp 7s. I have the Stamp 1s right now, but I thought for enduro racing, if I do go flat pedals, I might as well get the higher model.
Now there's a chance I may also try the Niner Rip 9 27.5 that I've showed in a recent video. So I'm testing 27.5 and 29. And so in that test, if I have that demo from Niner long enough, I may try that in enduro racing. But I think my go-to bike for the most part, because I like 29 for racing, is going to be the Transition Sentinel. And by the way, if you're not familiar with the travel on those two bikes, the Transition Sentinel has 160 in the front, 140 in the back, and the Transition Patrol has 170 in the front and 160 in the back. Another thing that I like about getting into enduro racing, since it's new, is the fact that I really don't have any expectations. Like I said earlier, it's just like the rides that we do. There's not a lot of training that we're going to do outside of our normal riding. So we do a large number of trips to the mountains during the summer months. So our favorite thing to do is just get up there and, like I said, ride, not push it too hard going to the top, and just pinning it on the way down. And that's what you do in enduro racing. So that's our training. We may get out and do some gravel riding. So I've got 2 gravel bikes in my fleet right now because I've got a demo from Niner. And we may get out and do some gravel riding because you really need to be fit enough to pedal to the top of several stages, and you don't want to be too wasted by the time you get to the end of the day. So fitness is fairly important. Now I do cross-country racing, and so I have some decent amount of fitness for that. So like I said, I don't have a lot of expectations, and that's the nice thing about it. So I've stood on the top of the podium of cross-country races and also for cyclocross races. And for enduro racing, it's kind of nice to not have that pressure of, hey, I did well, I have to do well again. I'm just going to go out and have fun. I'm probably not going to push it too hard in the first season. I just want to experience it. But Dawson, what are your goals and expectations for getting into enduro racing?
Well, like you, I've stood on the top step of cross-country races and cyclocross races and also BMX races. I'm actually looking forward to be on this top step of the podium in enduro racing as well.
Awesome.
Since this is my first step in my gravity career, I'm going to give it my full effort and not waste any of the opportunities.
Yeah, and I think Dawson has a chance of doing really well. His bike handling skills are really good. He can ride downhill really fast, and he's a really good jumper. So I think he's got all the ingredients to really do well in enduro racing. So like I said, this will be kind of a series that I have on my channel that will extend through the summer. I'm not sure how many races we're going to do yet. We're going to be looking at the calendar and make our plans, but I'm really excited about this new adventure in our mountain biking. How about you? Have you done enduro racing? If you have, leave us some tips below, things that we should think about as we prepare not only for training, but also for the gear. Any other questions or comments that you have, drop those below. And again, thanks to Competitive Cyclists for sponsoring this video and helping us get started in enduro racing. Thanks for watching.